This
be here.
conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, as I say evening. Good morning, everybody. This is the Board of Commissioners meeting for Lake Stevens Sewer. It is January 14th, 2021. It is 9 a.m. in the morning. This is a regularly scheduled meeting. We'll go ahead and call it to order. And prior to starting on the business, I just want to read, we generally have a little comments we put out. So commissioners, staffs, and citizens, since this is a remote meeting, some initial comments are appropriate. Required by the governor's series of proclamations beginning on March 24, 2020, the Lake Stevens Sewer District is holding its commissioner meetings remotely using the GoToMeeting platform, I should say. While this is not our norm, we're glad to be able to ensure continuity of business operations. Members of the public who are participating, we're very grateful that you're here and your support and patience as we work through this interim way of doing business. So for the members of the public, you've been invited to join us via the virtual meeting format, GoToMeeting. The public comment section of our agenda will be handled in the following way. First, comments or questions that were emailed to the Sewer District Customer Service or otherwise received sufficiently in advance of the meeting will be read during the public forum. Secondly, during the meeting, anyone wishing to comment during the public forum may use the chat box feature and you will be provided with the opportunity to comment. As we go ahead and start this meeting, I'm going to take attendance by calling your name. Please indicate whether you can hear me clearly or so others on the line can also hear you. We need to do our very best to speak one at a time so our note takers can take the minutes even though this is a recorded meeting. So beginning with that, I'll start with Commissioner Koshy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Commissioner Stevenson, can you hear me?
Perfectly, thank you.
Okay, so with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So members, in front of us is the agenda. I know that hopefully you received, there was a revision that was sent out this morning by the district updating some minutes in that were noted. So hopefully you are working off the latest agenda. If not, please let staff know real quick and they'll make sure they get you a new one sent. Otherwise, we could start by approving the agenda this morning.
I'd make a motion we approve the agenda as written.
I second.
So the agenda approval process has been moved and seconded. Seeing nobody throw their arms up or make motions that there's something different with staff and everybody else, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. It
has been approved and moved. Thank you. We'll move on down to our consent items. There are A through I, it appears, on the consent approval. So I know that staff sent those out, and I'm sure the board members have taken a look at those. So entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
I'd make a motion we approve consent items A through I.
I second.
So it has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as posted, A through I. I'll call for the vote on that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It has been moved and approved. Moving on down, public forum. Tara, I don't know if you can hear me. Have we received any comments, emails?
We have not, Dan. No comments,
Okay.
No emails.
Perfect, thank you. And I'll check with the general manager and the assistant general manager, see if anybody had written them on any comments or anything.
No, none.
Okay. I see Jonathan shaking his head side to side, indicating no. So we will move on. And anybody from the public, this is an opportunity at this time if you'd like to address the board for any issues that are before the Board of Commissioners or something that's besides that. This is an opportunity to address your electeds. Not seeing anybody. I see a caller 1 and a caller 2, but they're not speaking. So I'm going to take that as no. I didn't know if Mr. Peter Shagan.
Yes, Dan, you had mentioned previously that you were working on a new set of minutes for I believe it was December 17th, and that those had been sent out? Were they sent out to the public, or I'm not seeing anything?
It would have been an updated agenda packet this morning. I don't know if you received the latest one. I got one early this morning saying that there was an update to the agenda packet. I could read that. Let me open up my email on that. I can tell you exactly what was.
Yeah, there's the
Gary,
11th.
I can send that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send that to Gary.
Okay, that'd be great. I did
Yeah.
not see that revision. So.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Appreciate it. I want to make sure everybody is working on the same sheet of music here. So any other comments by the public, questions, concerns? Heard somebody chime in, but I don't know if that's just them joining us. I'm going to take it as somebody just joined us. So with that being said, we will move on to old business, which is item number 6. And the first thing on the agenda is the 2021 board positions. For those that are not aware of what that is, it's just where we elect president of the board for the year, the secretary for the board of the year. It was discussed at a special meeting, but no action was taken at that time. So I will open the floor to the Board of Commissioners.
I would like to nominate Dan to continue in his role as president.
I second that.
Wow. Okay. So it has been moved and seconded to make myself the president for the 2021 year Board of Commissioners. So we'll vote on that one before we move to the secretary position. So there has been a motion for myself being nominated and seconded by Commissioner Stevenson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. If I would have said nay, I would not have won anyhow. So, okay, that has been moved and voted on and approved for that. So I'll make a motion to nominate Commissioner Koshi as the secretary for the 2021 year for the Board of Commissioners for Lake Stephen Sewer.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is your opportunity, Commissioner Koshi, to object. Not that it will probably mean much, but sure.
I think I can handle the weighty responsibilities.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, thank you everybody for that. Let's move on down to the item B under old business, which is financial options discussion. And I'll open that up to the board.
So this one will be presented by Nikki. I have asked her, based on comments from the last board meeting and the utility committee, to bring us back some options of what can be done with that rate stabilization fund. So go ahead, Nikki.
Okay, I'd like to share the screen so they can see the document.
Please do.
Go, come back here. Okay, it looks funny on my screen. You guys all seeing that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I put together what we did at the beginning of the year forecast, and another one looking at if we pay off the SRF loan number L11-00012 with the money from the rate stabilization fund. Currently, there is $3.5 million owing on that loan. So I did a comparison of paying off that loan with what we did at the beginning of the year. So you can see the beginning of the year forecast that we did on 11/4. We have rates going to $90 in 2022, $95 in 2024, and $98 in 2026. By paying off that loan, we're able to essentially lower the rate in 2021 to $85, go back up to $86 in 2022, and delay the rate increases by 1 year. So it'd be $90 in 2023, $95 in 2025, and $98 in 2027. Along with that, we would be able to take $1 of our rates and transfer it into capital. So you can see right here, we're, that's not highlighting right. We're paying off the loan. So it'll leave $841,000 left in our rate stabilization fund. And right here, we have the transfer to the capital, the $1 per month rate to capital. In 2030, in our original beginning of year forecast, we go negative in our operating reserve by $318,000. If we pay off the SRF loan and put $1 to the capital, it increases to $824,000 negative in 2030. Although we are seeing quite an increase in permit activity already this year for January, it's high. So hopefully we'll get all those rates in early so that negative balance in 2030 won't be as significant. Also on there we go. This is our debt service ratio. If we do this, it doesn't change our coverage by much, so we're still in compliance with our debt service coverage. There's just minor changes to it, so we're still okay with that. And then the next page here is what it looks like with the capital. So this is our beginning of year with capital where we go negative in 2024. And again in 2026 due to the new treatment or the upgrade to the treatment plant. This 36 million is still, we're still playing around with that, trying to come up with some other scenarios so we don't have that. But with that $1 going into the capital, it does take us out to 2026 before we go in the red over our capital reserves. And with the 2022 comp plan, we are asking the engineers to look at putting some of our rates into the capital. So we're already starting with the $1 once we pay off the one SRF loan. Is there any other questions? Anybody have on that?
Just from I guess a couple things. One is I'd like to see a scenario where we don't drop the rates, keep the rate at 86. And see that I assume would shove out any rate increase some period of time, maybe not a year, but we could push it.
Sure.
So I don't see us, I don't know that I'd want to go down and then come back up and then come back up again. I would rather just keep it at 86 for as long as it allows us to have appropriate operating reserves and then address it. So that would be one input I would have. The other piece is can you talk to me? I guess the other piece would be maybe we need a workshop or something. I'd like to understand what are the steps between here and either having the plant re-rated or here and having the plant with different media or here. What are the options for us to avoid really expanding the plant? In other words, what are the steps we need to do to get certainty that we can shrink that 36 million down to something like 5 or whatever the number is, right? So I'd like to have an opportunity to drill into that a little bit. That's coming up. We've had it out there a while, but now we're within the 5-year window and so forth. And I know where we place that, it has an effect on GFCs and everything else. So, but I'd like to, what does that plan look like? What do we need to do, or what are the dates for the date to be able to get at some additional certainty? Do we need to spin some things up? That'd be the second comment and around that. And then I guess the last comment I'd have would be, I'd like to understand a little bit about kind of the policy position or the philosophy around moving OpEx to capital. I think I know that we have challenges moving from capital to OpEx, right? It can go one way, but it can't go the other. Right. And as our buildable lands inventory tapers off, even with the annexations that are planned, as that tapers off, we aren't going to have the luxury of having those one-hit monies relative to the GSC fees. Kind of maybe refining that buildable lands and what does that look like, and is this a kind of a shift to where we need to plan more now with more OpEx coming into capital at a regular basis, and what's kind of the policy we think is appropriate for that? So those are kind of the 3 areas. Stable rate increase, don't go down, come back up, a scenario to be considered, bore into the 36, and then the kind of the policy piece of moving to capital as it relates to buildable lands and our GFCs and our capital outlook and all that good stuff.
If I
Yeah,
can
That
jump
probably
in,
smells like a workshop more than anything else, probably.
I can jump in just real quickly, Commissioner Koshi,
Sure.
for your second 2 points. As part of the comp plan that GNO is doing for us this year, they are taking a look at the plant and what we can do around that $36 million, that blue box we got in the thing there. So we are looking at that as a component of that. The other component of the comp plan for this year was looking at what our options are for incorporating some more capital funds into the rates because of the lack of buildable lands going forward and the reduction in the GFCs that we're going to be receiving in the future. So that component is also in there. So we will be learning more in the months to come. But we can obviously do another workshop and things if you would like more information.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe we just wait for the readout and we go from there. So that's great that that's incorporated. I was probably told that before, but didn't think through. Because it's the balance, and especially as we look at 3033 with the district going back and being remerged to the city. It's of course it's really important to figure out what is that balance to be able to make sure there's healthy OpEx reserves, healthy capital reserves, and that the rate structure is appropriate to be able to make sure that not only operations but the capital infrastructure continues to meet the needs of the community, balanced against what kind of growth we're seeing or we anticipate, or what growth the buildable lands will allow us for. So that's great. So I think maybe we wait for that report, and maybe that's a logical stepping off point to say, okay, well, maybe we need a little more detail over here, a little more detail over here. So it's great to hear that that's in the works. Thank you.
No, I appreciate the work that staff's been doing on this. I would agree with Commissioner Koshi. I don't think just dropping it for a year, that's going to confuse the public. But there has to be an option in there. I think that if we do take those dollars, pay off that loan, take a look at it, maybe if we get another year out of 86, $85 or $86 by 2023, we look at the increase and then be able to fund that, the capital in that, put something in there to be able to know that we are taking $1 of those, the billing to go into that. I think a lot of it does hinge around that 2025 schedule, though we all know, anecdotally that we're probably not going to do that big upgrade there because the buildable lands don't support it. And I think we have technology on our side in regards to what we could do to upgrade the plant to be able to meet that interim need until they do see a large influx in the buildable lands, what the city is going to be incorporating into its limits with the expansion of the UGA in the future. That'll probably put it out years, but that's where we work with the city partners to do that, along with the engineering group, to be able to give us some guidance. So appreciate that. That looks good. I don't know if Commissioner Stevenson had any comments on this.
No, I think I like the idea of keeping the rates low and not, making them go up. And yeah, just definitely getting a little bit more information sounds good. And thank you for your work, Mickey.
you're welcome.
The good news is paying off those loans gives us more life around the rates, right? Because it reduces our interest exposure, so, and the impact on OpEx. So that's great news. And I know we have a conversation to gain input from our city partners here coming up this month. And so be good to get that input. And then it's nice to have a loan that is not encumbered that we can we can address immediately if we choose to do so. That's great. Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I know that that's the interests of all parties involved wanting to reduce debt. I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do. Maybe we're doing something other cities around the area besides the district and Lake Stevens are as far as reducing. We're all trying to shed debt, so that's a good thing if we can work in that direction. So look forward to hearing what G&O and them have to say once we delve into that, and then we'll have a workshop, I'm sure. But this utility meeting coming up towards the end of the month will be perfect to at least give another overview to the other members of the committee. So nothing else on that. Let's move on down to agenda packet / website discussion, which is item C under old business. Turn this over to the staff.
Hi. So we did have an inquiry from a citizen locally asking for additional information to be posted on our website to include the entire agenda packet rather than just the agenda information. And so I wanted to open it up to the commissioner's input on if you would like that additional information put out there. I have communicated with staff about our website needs and such, and it's not a lot more work in order to do that. So the impact for us as a district is very minimal.
Thank you.
More info is better as far, yeah. If it's not a big impact to do it, I'd say, and we can provide more information out to the public. I question how many people are really going to look at it, but if it's not a lot more work, why not?
Yeah, I have no issue with it. I think I spoke with you, Mariah, when you first received that, and I have no issue with it. I think the only thing is anything that goes on there until it's been obviously approved by the Board of Commissioners, we probably either just stamp draft, but for the most part, a lot of it is probably just releases and how the monies have been spent by the district paying the bills. So no problem there for me.
And I agree. I think if it's not a lot of extra work for staff to do it, then I guess it's okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. So finishing up that, we're going to move on down to the new business, which is 7. The first thing under new business is A, which is a sole source justification for JWC to rebuild the Headworks band screen. I'm going to turn that over to staff.
All right. So as the commission may know, is that the many of the components at the treatment plant are getting some age and miles behind them, and generally they have wearable parts. In this case, the Headworks screens are reaching a point where we need to do some rehabilitation work, replace all those wearable parts. The JWC is the vendor, the manufacturer, and the service agency for those Headworks screens. So we can't seek any outside help on doing that work. So in the agenda packet, I have JWC's sole source justification and looking for the commission to review that and approve as necessary the sole source justification for JWC Environmental to complete the work for the Headworks band screen rehabilitation.
Hey, Jonathan, I just want to note that I enjoy their names of their product names of the Muffin Monster, Channel Monster, Auger Monster, Screening Washer Monster, Honey Monster, and the Monster Screening System. So I think any company that can come up with that kind of vernacular to describe their products probably deserves a sole source.
Yep.
Somebody probably has kids at home, and so they had to name them once they introduced it to their children, and the children decided this is what they're going to be called. So, yeah. So, any discussion by the board? Motion to approve.
No, it was interesting. There's two different quotes though, so I found that kind of interesting. Why did they break it up into 2 chunks?
I think it's because different serial numbers, they track the maintenance by the machine rather than an overall project.
Sure. Okay. That's like Cisco does it. So
Yeah.
I'm familiar. Okay. I'll make a motion. We approve the sole source for JWC Environmental for our headwork screening apparatus to the tune of, what do we say, 90,000.
Well, that's a separate agenda item. This one, we just need the board approval first before we move into that for us not going through the competitive bidding process because JWC is the sole provider of those services.
Well, let me keep it simple. I'll make a motion that we authorize a general or assistant manager to sign the JWC maintenance agreement not to exceed $90,000. How about that?
A second.
So it's been moved and seconded. I'm going to take it. We moved down to B right away on the authorization for the general or assistant manager to sign with JWC maintenance agreement not to exceed $90,000. Any further questions?
Well,
I know Brian's going to say approve A first, so we may have to just put that.
Well, you can include in the motion the sole source justification. I think you just need to acknowledge that JWC is the sole source for the contract that the district is entering into. But the commission should include the sole source as part of the motion. It doesn't necessarily need to be done in a two-step process, but the sole source needs to be part of the commission action.
My learning continues. Let me just follow the agenda and keep it simple on everybody. Let me go back to A and let me make a motion for the sole source justification of JWC to rebuild the Headworks band screen. Let me stop there.
A second.
Okay, we're back to A. So it has been moved and seconded to authorize the district under a motion to have JWC to rebuild a Headworks band screen as their sole source provider. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we managed to make a nice mess of that. Thank God we're not in the business of rebuilding band screen Headworks. So we'll go ahead and move on down to B, which there is a motion and a second on the floor already. Any further discussion on that? Seeing nobody, including legal, jump in to say we've managed to screw that up, well, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, we have managed to make it through the new business. Thank you, everybody, for that. Let's move on down to 8, which are managers' reports. We're going to start with the general manager.
Hi. Good morning, commissioners. The generator that was surplused in 2012 with resolution 63 was finally picked up by the city this past week. So our field crews also assisted the city in investigating a stormwater issue with the CCTV truck. And we had 702 less delinquent accounts in 2020 than we had in 2019. With a difference of $41,680. Our customer service team worked hard to reduce the number of liens that were placed in December by 53% by making calls and emails. Volunteers of America has pledged 4 more accounts this month with Salvation Army vouchers up to $800. And we received enough donations in Caring by Sharing program for an additional 5 customers this month. So our entire admin team should be commended for their commitment to serving the customers. The district updated the emergency plan for the wastewater treatment plant. So thank you to Caitlin and to all the plant staff for their work on making sure there's a solid plan in place should the unexpected happen. The district also updated the coronavirus preparedness plan for the district, in addition to some additional training for all of the staff. On Monday, the Snohomish County Council set the schedule for the Southeast Interlocal Annexation Agreement. The joint public hearing will be Tuesday, March 9th at 6 p.m. Which would put implementation around late March or April. So the district is a party to this ILA between the city and county, but will additionally need to pursue one of the other methods under RCW 5724 for annexation in the future. And then my last thing, time and again, in the short time that I've been here, I've seen staff that have just jumped in all hands on deck to take care of the district far and beyond banking hours. We've been inundated lately with citizens' calls, mostly related to weather, and our guys have grabbed a rake to clear storm drains when needed to help out, or they've spent hours trying to help troubleshoot a business that has a problem with their system, or they've moved sandbags to help protect a lift station. This week, we had every district facility without power and running on generators, including the plant. And as you can imagine, it makes for a really busy and stressful time, but the team is competent and they're efficient. And the staff are the most valuable asset this district has. With each event and the great leadership that we have in Jim and Brian and Jonathan, they make sure that we've learned from everything that needs to be changed or fixed before the next event happens. And they build resilience into the system again and again. So I'm very, very proud of our team, and the ratepayers should be too. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. It's awesome to see how well our team works and how responsive we are, regardless if it's something that's necessarily just sewer related, but we help, our partners on the city side, because I know that they're just as busy as we are, especially when you have a storm and things like that. So thank you to everybody who has taken the time to do that, because I mean, a lot of times I've seen it being in government. Not everybody always wants it. It's not, sometimes people want to say it's not my job, so they want to get involved, but I have never, ever experienced that with the sewer district. I think that our members go above and beyond all the time, and I truly appreciate it. So thank you and kudos to them. Assistant General Manager, you are up.
All right. So we ended 2020 with 320.21 general facility charges collected and 438 permits issued. We're starting January with no GFCs yet, but 46 permits issued. And to piggyback off of what Mariah was saying about staff, is I have to commend the field and treatment staff again for their outstanding work through the weather, the windstorm, and the power outage. Both departments were able to mobilize and get systems back online and resolve any issues that may have come up in a timely manner. Because of their hard work and determination, we didn't have a single spill, and all of our facilities were working as intended. So yeah, again, kudos to them. They are amazing. Also, to kind of go back and discuss the 2035 treatment plant upgrade potentially. So part of the discussion and decision-making process on incremental upgrades that would allow us to re-rate the plant with a capacity that we need, rather than one big build-out capacity upgrade. Part of the information we needed was what the ecology was going to impose on us for our nutrient permit. And it appears that there's been a lawsuit filed against ecology, basically a procedural lawsuit that was filed by 4 different entities that may delay those results. We were anticipating early January getting what our limits would be. They've been kind of mum. We didn't know if it was going to be a percentage removal, a fixed rate of of nutrients, nitrogen essentially. So again, this may delay us knowing what the nutrient limit is going to be. So yeah, we might not have all the answers as soon as we were hoping. But that's all I got. Any questions?
One question on how we progressing on the I&I kind of study, trying to, downtown with the water level so high and everything. Are we, guys, any, I guess, thoughts on that, or have we had a chance to lean into that? I know there's been a lot of other things going on, so.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy. We had intended to do some smoke testing to verify any downspouts that are connected to sewer, but with the, I guess, since we didn't fill that one position, our staff's been pretty booked. But this week we completed installing flow meters. We installed 6 flow meters they're a remote measurement tool that'll give us historical data over time. We completed that work yesterday, or Lee was nice enough to complete that work yesterday for us. But we installed 6 of those flow meters at strategic points throughout the district, and we're intending on keeping those installed for 2 months. So we should be able to identify basins, at least the big interceptors, to see where our biggest I&I contributors are, and then we can start zeroing in and narrowing down the search from there.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. I know that at the WASWAD meeting the other night, they were talking about litigation that was put forth with DOE because of the fact that they weren't following some of their own policies they put in place. So it's not uncommon at times that some of those things happen. So I guess we wait and see what will come of that. But I know we have work in between that'll keep us busy, and it'll probably all come together in one giant push at the end. So thank you. On to item C, which is the treatment plan update. I think Jim is one of the callers online, so I will turn that over to Jim.
Thank you. Hello, commissioners. And last time we met, I think we were doing the holiday party, and we really enjoyed it. Our team focused, a lot of our focus was on the trivia test, and we leaned heavily on Commissioner Koshi on that. We're not going to be worrying about polishing the trophy this year. But anyway, we had a great time, and it was nice. We have had quite a bit of I&I. As you do know, that we have had a lot of rain recently in our area, but the staff has done a great job. And again, kudos to the collection team. They work really hard, and we do appreciate all their efforts. There's great communication. So when they have an issue, they let us know so we can prep for it. And it's been a big help out here. We have 5 continuous improvement goals for this year, and that's good. And so that we continually move forward. And in one of those was SCADA security, and we've already accomplished making the SCADA secure, that we have each our own login and a firewall in place, and so that somebody from the outside can neither break into the treatment plant and access our SCADA, nor can they come through the internet and mess with our SCADA, which is big, so that we can continue to protect the environment. And that's it.
Thank you. Any idea what some of our flows have been lately? Because I know that we have had a heck of a rainfall for the first 14 days of January.
Yeah, we have approached 6 MGD. We got 5.8 million gallons a day, for a couple of days, and 6 point. We've had some really high diurnal flows, but we've been able to handle that with no problem. Our filterability through our MBR has been excellent this year. So we're good to go as far as that. And again, a lot of that, the I&I, it's a big help, and Brian's great at communicating to us. So we can prep and make sure that our MBR and that our plant has a sufficient amount of equipment ready online to handle those flows.
Excellent, thank you. Hats off to the crew down there. Excellent job for that kind of flow. So moving on down, we have city report. I see the city administrator, Gene, online. I'm not sure if he's going to give the report. I don't know if the mayor joined us this morning on that, but if not, Gene, it is yours.
Great. Good morning, commissioners, staff, and public. I appreciate you having me this morning. Quick list for you. The outlet channel from the lake, we received an emergency permit to remove vegetation and some of the spoils that are along the bank that have grown in. That project will start today, actually. So along Hartford, you'll see some traffic revisions, side dumps in there, and an excavator fitted with a special implement that we tracked down in Eastern Washington that's approved through that permit to use. 99th Street, the culvert blockage that the district came and helped us TV. Really appreciate that cooperation. It is still plugged. We are trying to uncover the end of that pipe to see what exactly is going on. So hopefully we'll get some resolution to that shortly. 20th Street Southeast widening project is shut down for the winter. So I believe that's a 100-day shutdown. DOT standards do not allow paving this time of year, so as soon as that's over, we'll get the final overlay on that and the project complete. 91st Street road extension into the future Costco site, that's underway, and I know we've been working with the district on that, and we do have that key for you, Jonathan, to the gate whenever you get a chance to get this direction. We've got that for you. Monday, the public works shop will start getting its overhaul. It's a major tenant improvement happening down there. The concrete work is all but complete at the decant site. The steel building is expected to show up mid-February, and then that will be erected, and that should complete that project, and we'll be able to open it for use. And then finally, the Festival Street in downtown will be constructed this summer, and I know we've been working with Jonathan on that as well. There's some sewer line work that'll be required on that, but certainly we look forward to that partnership, and that's all I have.
Excellent, thank you, appreciate it. Just one comment or question I have. On the 91st extension, is it gonna go down that hill, or are they gonna build some sort of elevated, I don't know if they're gonna build a bridge or any access in there?
There is a retaining wall that will be built, but one of the first things we'll see is the ever water lines need to be moved up. And so they'll put a base down and almost ground lay those new pipes up at a different elevation, and then the wall will go in. You see the clearing and grubbing happening now. Big project, big wall, lots of fill, but Everett will have a brand new set of water lines through there when complete.
Oh, excellent, thank you. Yeah, I know that's a deep hole, so I figured there were gonna be something, because if you leave it to the public, sometimes you come off that hill and that went down in that dip, boy, there'd be probably a few more collisions than you'd really want to deal with. So thank you, appreciate that. So we'll move on over to commissioners' reports. I don't know if the board members have any reports, but I'll start with Commissioner Stevenson if she has anything.
No, I'm good.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioner Koshi.
Just a couple things. One, excited to look at the financial options as we honor the rate stabilization fund as the intended use when those funds were originally collected, and looking at those options. So I just think that's really important to be consistent with what the district said to the public at the time those funds were collected. And looking at putting them back into the plant or combination therein is just really important. So look forward to discussing that further, both with our city partners later this month, and then coming back as a board to make a decision on what to do there. So that's great. And then I guess one more comment to the staff. You know, there's lots of my day job pieces where when there's an extraordinary event that occurs, I worry with the district. I wonder how it's going, but I don't worry. And And so I appreciate that. And that is, I guess that's confidence has come over the last 3 years of time and time again. When things come up, there's an opportunity for exceptional performance, and the staff walks through that opportunity well. One comment to the city, driving through the city on Main Street, I thought the lights were extremely tastefully done, were just absolutely beautiful in the old downtown. My family really enjoyed those, and the coordination with the merchants and everything was just, it was beautiful. It was excellent this holiday season. And then I guess the last just a comment is just an observation that the unification agreement continues to provide steadfast district support on all annexations, as it has since it was signed. And we see that again with this latest annexation. So just an observation there of the value of that agreement. That's all I got.
Thank you. No, I would agree with those sentiments. I mean, I think that staff does an excellent job with the district. It is nice not to worry. I know when they do call, they're just informing us, but they do an excellent job, which really frees up the Board of Commissioners not to have to exercise the ability, not only from the executive standpoint and legislative standpoint, we can just be legislators, because we have an excellent staff and folks who operate this organization. So thank you again for everybody. I look forward to a very good, robust discussion at the Utility Committee with our partners, and we'll move forward. I appreciate getting the date in March, so the annexation hearing with the County Council, City, and any of the special purpose districts that are part of that, so we can hear from the public. I do know we are going to have an executive session. This executive session is going to last till at least 10:05 a.m. this morning. That gives us, a little over about 15, 20, almost 15 minutes, somewhere in that ball frame. We may have to extend it. I will let legal spout all the RCWs in regards to what it will pertain, but I appreciate everybody joining us this morning. I don't anticipate, but if I'm wrong, a decision to follow. It is mainly an update, but we will go from there. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Brad and Kenan to please advise.
Okay. Kenan, you want to take it? The commission will now, I'll take it. The commission will recess into executive session that will last until 10:05. The subject matter of the litigation will, or the subject matter of the executive session will be potential litigation. The executive session will, the commission will not make any decisions in executive session, and when they return to regular session, will not make any decisions based upon the discussion in executive session. And at the return to regular session, the meeting will be adjourned without an announcement. So the commission will now recess into executive session.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate your time here. I will let Tara, or somebody has controls to turn off the recording for
this conference will now be recorded.
So the Board of Commissioners are back in regular session at the moment out of executive. We are here to extend the meeting. It is 10:05 now. I am looking to legal to tell me how long they think we're going to go to 10:30.
Yes, why don't you go to 10:30?
Yeah, 10:30.
We're going to go to 10:30. So we'll go back into executive session. No decision to follow, but we will extend it till 10:30. We'll wait till.
This conference will now be recorded.
So the Board of Commissioners for Lake Stevens Sewer District are back in regular session. There is no decision to follow the executive session there. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
It has been moved and seconded. And just one last reminder, we do have vouchers to come in and sign. So if we could do that sometime today, the staff would love you for it. So with that being said, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody. It was a lively debate, so I'm sure there's
Appreciate
more to
y'all.
come. We'll
Take
talk
care.
again.
All right, I'll see everybody later. Bye.
Yep.
Bye now.